All right, guys, thanks for your patience. Appreciate that. Welcome to Marvel Live. My name is Brian Crosby. I'm the creative director of Marvel Themed Entertainment. We're going to be having some fun today. I know everybody's indoors doing the thing, doing the social distancing and whatnot, which is great. Good on you. Let's get through this. But in the meantime, thought we'd get together and have some fun learning how to draw the Punisher, as you can see. I'm just kidding. We're doing your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. If you saw us on YouTube or on Facebook, you get another chance at this, so that's great. If you didn't, get out your pencils and paper, and we're going to go ahead and learn how to draw this guy, friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Okay? So before I get into this, I want to clarify that I'm not using anything fancy. This is just a sheet of paper. I got a couple of pencils here. These are my drawing tools of the trade, if you will. This is a Prismacolor Color-Ace blue pencil. The reason I use these to start my drawing is back in the day, before we had Photoshop and things like that, we would use these non-photo blue pencils, which when we photocopied them, the blue line would drop out, and then you would just have the black pencil line that you drew. So it really minimized the amount of erasing you had to do and things like that. So now, today, you scan it into Photoshop, and you can just drop out the blue line, and it's a piece of cake. But I still love drawing with these Prismacolor pencils. They're great for drawing, and and again, I don't have to erase as much. The other things I'm going to use. This is an HB pencil. HB is the lead weight, or the lead weight, and I'll use this to do most of my drawing lines. Begin. You can use anything. You can use a ballpoint pen. You can use a regular pencil that you have around the house, a mechanical pencil. So that's an HB. And then for some of the darker lines I'm going to do, some of the heavy blacks, I'm going to use a 6B. So you see this is HB, 6B. So those are the two lead weights I'm going to use when I draw this Spider-Man image here. Okay? So I'm going to put the black pencils aside for a second. I'm going to start with my blue colored pencil. And the first thing I'm going to do, and I do this anytime I draw any kind of humanoid character, and I really just start with a circle. And I apologize for being left-handed. I'll try not to get in the way of the shot here for you guys. But again, this blue pencil, or excuse me, the blue circle, does not have to be perfect. Just a sketchy circle. That's it. So that's where we're going to start. So any drawing a humanoid or an alien or a creature, I always start with some basic geometric shapes, cubes, circles, cylinders, that kind of thing. Okay? Now when you're drawing a face, everybody's face has an imaginary center line that goes down the middle. I'm going to draw Spider-Man looking off to the right. So it's kind of a three-quarter view. Okay? So if you imagine this is a sphere, his center line would go right here like that. Okay? So if this is your ball, that is the center line of Peter Parker's face here. Okay? The next thing I do is I draw his chin. Now, when you're drawing Peter Parker, Spider-Man, I like to draw more of a youthful, kind of high school age Spider-Man. So I'll draw his chin a little thinner than maybe the way I would draw other superheroes. Like if I was going to draw the Hulk or Captain America, I might draw that big kind of traditional superhero-looking chin, a big kind of squared-off chin. But with Spider-Man, I like him to be a little younger, a little more wiry. Again, you can use these tricks that I'm teaching. You can use this to draw any character you want. You can make up your own characters. You can draw great Marvel characters, whatever you want to do. Okay, the next thing I do is I'm going to take that center line, and I'm going to go all the way down to the bottom of the chin. Okay, just carry it all the way through. All right. So now I have a great dividing line. Give me two halves of Spider-Man's face. Okay? You guys are with me? Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to draw the eye line. And the eye line it's about halfway. I think a lot of times when people's drawings kind of go wrong is they look at a human face and they think the eyes are actually up higher on the head than they actually are. Your eyes, if you look at yourself in the mirror, look at your friends or family, you'll see the eye line is just about in the middle of your head. And that actually connects to the top of your ear. So it's all connected, just like that. Okay, now I know Spider-Man doesn't show his ears, but the way I like to draw him is I like to know that that ear is under there. It helps me really sell that this is a mask that's over the top of Spider-Man's head. Okay? Now your eyes sit just on that eye line. So I'll make just a little mark of where those eyes are. I know it looks kind of silly right now, but again, your blue line is what you're not going to be seeing when you do your finished pencils. Okay? Okay, the next thing I'm going to do, so that's kind of Spider-Man's head there. Now we're going to go into his neck. Now again, much like the chin, if I'm drawing a big superhero type guy, I'll do a big thick chin. But for Spider-Man, I like him to be a little younger, a little more wiry. So I'll kind of make a curved line that comes in along the back of the head, and then another line that comes over here just under the chin, and bring that down. Okay? Because you're having fun following along. Drawing is supposed to be fun. That's why we do this, right? It's comic books. It's great. Okay. So now I'm just going to cap off the top of that shoulder, just like that. Okay? Everybody doing okay? All right. I'm going to assume that's a big yes from everyone. All right, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to draw kind of the outline of that lens, that cool, iconic Spider-Man lens. And even here, the comics I've got with me today, I mean, you look at this one here, Marvel Knights. You see that angular, kind of more aggressive-looking Spider-Man. So that's one way of doing it. You look at like the old Steve Ditko drawings. When he originally drew Spider-Man, there were much smaller lenses. And then you get all the way into the 90s with Todd McFarlane, my personal favorite, these big kind of bug eyes. I kind of gravitate towards that. It's more of like an Ultimate Spider-Man type look. So I'm going to make them not quite as big as Todd's here, but I'm going to make them pretty good size, you know. So it's like this. It's kind of like an iron shape, you know, like you're ironing your shirt, kind of like that. Not quite an iron, but kind of like an iron. And I'm going to do that on both sides. Okay. To get those big, cool Spider-Man eyes. Now, see, that's where it helped to have those eyes. Even though I'm not going to necessarily see them when I'm drawing Spider-Man, I know where they are, and I know how they would fit underneath those big lenses that he has. Okay? Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do the rim around those lenses. And essentially, I'm going to echo that same shape. Maybe come to a little bit more of a point in the center. And follow that all the way around. And I'll bring that lens to a point up in the corner. Bring it to another point here. And I'll do the same thing on the other side. I'm sorry again for being left-handed, but I'll get out of your way. Okay. There you go. So you can see Spider-Man is starting to take shape. It's looking good. Okay, hope you're all doing good. Hope your Spider-Men are looking phenomenal. Again, practice, just keep doing it, and you'll get it. Okay? Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start to lay in the web lines. And that's really one of the fun things about drawing Spider-Man. And again, let's go back to Todd's drawing here. Just tons of webs. You know, some people love doing those webs. Some people it gets a little tedious. I think it's a lot of fun. I think it's one of the hallmarks of drawing Spidey. So I'm going to use that center line as one of my web lines, actually. So it kind of connects all the way around. Now, again, some people will do lots of webs, some people do less. It's really up to you, whatever you think looks the coolest. So, but all of these web lines are going to radiate off of right where the center line and the eye line cross. So they're kind of radiating off of that middle point. Gives them almost kind of a basketball look. Okay. And then those same web lines, I'm going to take all the way down his neck. Now, if you've seen me teach this before, that's okay. You can keep practicing. I've taught this same lesson about how to draw Spider-Man at numerous places. D23 Expo and the various conventions and parks and events and things like that. And I like to start with Spider-Man because he's a fairly easy character to draw. If you guys enjoy doing this, we'll get into drawing lots of different characters and things and have some more fun drawing the rest of the Marvel Universe. All 9,000 of them, or however many we have now. Just kidding. All right. Okay, so next we're going to make these kind of loops here. So these web kind of arcs that are around the mask, that really is what sells the webbing. Now, one thing that's important here, and I tell this to everybody, and if you've heard this joke, I apologize, but these loops all point, kind of go towards the center line. You see that? See how all the loops are just all facing inward towards the center. If they're not, if they're going the other way, then you end up with kind of a flower face man. Now again, flower face man, fine character, would love to see it. Somebody will do it great. But for now, we're going to stick to drawing Spider-Man here and Peter Parker. And I'm going to continue doing these radiating web lines all the way around Spider-Man's mask. You notice I have not yet jumped over to the black pencil. This is still just underdrawing. Okay? And just keep it going all the way around. Again, there's no right or wrong here. It's part of drawing. You get to kind of do your own thing. Now, I heard Scotty Young once say recently that you find your style by just drawing a lot. So I may draw it this way, Humberto Ramos may draw it another way, Scotty Young may draw it another way, Todd McFarlane may draw it another way. Everybody draws them a little bit different. But if you just keep doing it, you'll find what works for you, and you'll discover what your style is. Okay, I think I've got a pretty good looking Spider-Man at that point. So now I'm going to ditch my Prismacolor Color Erase pencil, and I'm going to go over to the HB pencil, okay, the lighter weight of the two. And I'm going to start to commit to some of these lines. So I'm going to commitment to the lines that I've created here. Now again, if we're creating a comic book, an inker would take these pencil lines and would commit even a step further. But I like to have pretty nice tight pencils, real clean, so you can see what's going on. So again, all I'm doing is just going over the top. I'm not going to draw that full ear, but I want to know it's there, so you get the shape of it. So you know it's a mask. It's over the top of